Curiosity on Mars. Curiosity on Mars. Focus question. How and why are scientists studying Mars? Landing on Mars. Jet Propulsion Laboratory, Cupertino, California, September 20th, 2012, 7:20 p.m. It would be over in time. It takes so hard, boil an egg. Some of the scientists watching held their breath. Others bit their fingernails. All hoped the strange-looking spacecraft would land safely on Mars. The spacecraft's name was Curiosity, and it is still on Mars today. Its job is to look for evidence of past or current life on Earth, on Mars. Curiosity is a mechanical rover larger than a golf cart. In 2012, it was the largest robotic vehicle that NASA, the United States Space Agency, had ever built. Curiosity hurtled through space at 13,000 miles, 20,921 p.m. per hour as it broke through the planet's atmosphere. What happened next was a 7-minute plunge to the surface, and the longest 420 seconds in the lives of NASA scientists on the Mars rover team. Although the Martian atmosphere is thin, it produced overall drag to slow Curiosity to 10,000 miles per hour, 1,609 kilometers per hour. Still, at this speed, the craft was moving far too fast to land. But scientists had planned for this moment. A 100-pound parachute blossomed from the top to the craft. The chute slowed Curiosity to 200 miles per hour, 321 kilometers per hour, the speed of a Formula First race car. Moments later, the parachute released, with seconds to go and the surface of Mars fast approaching. The sky crane holding Curiosity beneath it fired its rocket engines. They slowed the craft even more, about 66 feet to a 30 meter above the planet's surface. The sky crane gently lowered Curiosity to the ground on cables. Scientists had never before tried to land on a spacecraft using this method. Would it work? No one knew. The control room was silent. Finally, the 7 minutes were up. Touchdown confirmed, someone shouted. Cheers filled the room. People hugged. A few cried. Curiosity had landed. Searching for E.T. Mars has fascinated people for centuries. The ancient Romans and Greeks named the planet for their gods of war. In 1877, an Italian astronomer wrongly thought he saw canals on the Martian surface. His mistake gave rise to the idea that someone was living there. As time passed, people soon realized that Mars and Earth had a lot in common. Mars is just as old as Earth. As on Earth, the seasons on Mars change. The planet has volcanoes, mountains, and valleys. Yet, Earth has one thing that has yet to be found on Mars: life. As far as we know, Earth is the only planet in our solar system that has ever been home to living things. Scientists hope to learn that the red planet has or once supported life. Although NASA sent the spacecraft to Mars to search for aliens, the rover isn't looking for a little green man. Instead, it is searching for tiny extraterrestrial ET life forms hiding beneath rocks or buried under the soil. Such creatures might be smaller than one-celled animal or as tiny as a virus. Where might these creatures have come from? Long ago, water flowed on Mars. Water is vital for life. If Mars was wet, perhaps life flourished on its rust-red surface. If life did bloom on Mars, it might have left behind some proof. Roving around Mars. Besides Earth, Mars is the most studied planet in our solar system. Humans have sent many space probes to Mars to look for life and study its geology. The most famous missions involve robotic rovers. In 1996, the United States launched the Pathfinder probe. The probe landed on Mars on July 4th in 1997. 2 days later, a six-wheeled rover named Sojourner began roaming the Martian surface. Sojourner's findings showed scientists that Mars was more Earth-like than originally thought. In 2004, two other rovers, Spirit and Opportunity, arrived. They landed on opposite sides of the planet. These robots were more complex than Sojourner. Their mission was supposed to last 90 days. Spirit went silent in 2010 and Opportunity was silent in 2018. Mobile Science Lab. If there is life on Mars, Curiosity had a good chance of finding it. In 2012, it was the brainiest Mars rover ever, a science lab on wheels. The rover wasted no time in getting to work after landing. Curiosity popped the protective dust covers off its cameras and turned on its weather station. It took its first images and beamed them back to Earth. Curiosity is outfitted with many newly designed pieces of equipment, including 3D cameras. Scientists can view the Martian landscape as if they were walking on the planet themselves. Curiosity also has a rock blasting laser. Once the laser zaps the rock, special instruments examine the gases that spew into the air. The rover also has a drill that can grind bits of boulders into dust. Curiosity can look at the dust and determine the makeup of the minerals and chemicals. The rover can also scoop up the steady bits of Martian dirt. They exactly are NASA scientists looking for? The rover's mission is to search for the building blocks of life. These include carbon, hydrogen, nitrogen, oxygen, and other elements. Curiosity found these elements as well as evidence that liquid water existed on Mars in the past. Curiosity at a glance. Mission name: Mars Science Laboratory. Size: 10 feet long, 9 feet wide, and 7 feet tall. Weight: 2,000 pounds, 900 kilograms, about the weight of a small car. Launched November 26, 2011. Landed 10:32 p.m. Pacific Time. August 5, 2012. 1:32 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. August 6, 2020. Curious facts. Curiosity's power comes from electricity produced by plutonium, a fuel used in nuclear power plants. Mars attacks. On the night of October 30, 1938, many Americans gathered in their living rooms and listened to the radio. On that night, they heard something shocking. A huge flaming object had smashed into a New Jersey farm. The Martians were invading. People in and around New York City panicked. They called the police. They called newspapers. They called radio stations. Should they get out of town? How should they protect themselves? People didn't really have to worry. The broadcast was a radio play called The War of the Worlds. The play was based on a novel by H.G. Wells. At the beginning of the broadcast, an actor named Orson Welles instead told listeners that the invasion was not real. Many people did not hear the introduction. However, they really thought Mars was attacking Earth. Driving Curiosity. Some people drive buses for a living. Others drive taxicabs. Curiosity needs a driver as well. Mars is about twice the size of Earth's moon, yet the rover is motoring only in one neighborhood, called Gale Crater. A meteor created the crater about 3 billion years ago. The hole is the size of Connecticut and Rhode Island combined. Inside the crater is a mountain called taller than Mount Rainier, which towers over Seattle, Washington. Scientists think they have the best opportunity to find evidence of life inside this crater. That's because scientists believe Gale Crater was once flooded with water. As a result, the crater is packed with clays and sulfates, types of minerals. These minerals are byproducts of water. Curiosity is setting the soil to see if any microbes are hiding inside. Do you know? Imagine trying to drive a rover on another planet from your couch. Beginning the March 2020, that's exactly what the team of scientists in charge of Curiosity had to do when the COVID pandemic forced them to work from home. Driving Curiosity is a hard job. bad turn could doom this mission. That's why a team of scientists and engineers work together to decide where the rover should go before anyone gets behind the wheel, or in this case, the computer. The driver must put on special glasses to study the 3D images that Curiosity sends back. They then use a computer program that simulates the route. They enter hundreds of computer commands that steer the craft. Curiosity crawled only 30 feet a day when it was first landed. Curious facts. The temperature on Mars can dip below minus 81 degrees Fahrenheit, minus 62.78 degrees Celsius. Heated liquids pump through Curiosity to keep the rover warm. Listening in. Talking to Curiosity is more complicated than picking up a smartphone and call a friend. The rover can send messages directly to Earth. It can also relay signals by using 3 satellites orbiting Mars. Scientists send and receive the signals using a system of giant antenna dishes. See diagram. The system is called the Deep Space Network. The huge dishes are located near Madrid, Spain, Canberra, Australia, and the Mojave Desert in California. Scientists will be listening as Curiosity drives along the Martian landscape, hoping to see if anyone else is out there.